viewers. Good evening. Wow, it's good to be here with you again on another segment of How is Your Mental Health? How is your mental health? Last week we treated a topic about mothers and children, um, postnatal depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and how it affects mothers and babies. Wow. The response that we got was just phenomenal. Phenomenal. A lot of people who were interested, in the program, who just wanted to be part of the program, and people were calling us and they were sending in, messages to say that the the program, the segment, and the topic that was treated actually met them at their point of need, that it did a lot to educate them and also um, give them knowledge, about things they've either witnessed in the past or things that are happening around them. And most importantly, how to treat a mom who is going through post traumatic stress disorder or postnatal depression, how to support them, how to signpost them to hospital. A grandmother actually reached out to me that she watched that program from beginning to end, and she was very, very, educated. She got a lot of information because she said if she had this information before her daughter put to bed, before her daughter had a baby, she would have been more informed and she would have known how to support her better and to, advocate for her in hospitals and in treatment, and also, sought advice and also sought treatment from the mental health facility around where they were living. But she just thought that the daughter was exhibiting all kinds of traits, and she thought she was just overwhelmed with having a new baby. But she didn't know that the condition actually had a name and there was a treatment plan for that. So I'm really pleased that a lot of people are getting information. They are blessed by these programs and these segments of How is Your Mental Health. I'm glad that we're receiving feedback and people are watching, and they're not saying that this program is a waste of time or a waste of their data or a waste of resources, because time goes into preparing this segment, research, reading, and also sourcing here and there for people with knowledge, people who are interested in advocacy for mental health, people who are trained professionals in areas of mental health, people who are doing great works in that area, people who have charity, who have foundation that are supporting mental wellness. So today we are going to do something slightly different, as I have been speaking to people behind closed doors I have been searching, researching, checking up social media pages of people who are doing great works in mental wellness, who have foundation, and I'm just inspired by what Mrs. Temitayo, we call her Princess. I'm inspired by what her foundation, her charity, Help for the Depressed, they're doing, because depression is very, very huge as an illness in mental health. Is the most common, is the most common amongst mental illnesses that people suffer when they have mental health issues. Depression is huge, and it comes in different colors, it comes in, you know, different ways, and it exhibits different traits and, symptoms and signs. And it leads to, it could lead to fatality when there is suicide ideation, and when it's not properly managed, and the person in question is not well supported and signposted to get help. So Help for the Depressed, which is in Nigeria, and run by Princess Temidayo. And she's been here once on the program, and we talked together about stigmatization and labeling, and how people are judgmental about sufferers of mental illness. So she runs Help for the Depressed. And after we connected, she actually added me to her forum, you know, groups where she has quite a sizable number of people who are also interested in the topic of mental wellness, who are interested in learning about depression, people who are, located in the area where her work is being carried out, people who actually run into those that need help, those that are looking to be signposted, people that are going through depression, mental health issues, schizophrenia, bipolar, suicide ideation, panic attacks, anxiety. People who know her charity, people who know what she's doing in her locality, in her community. And when such issues arise, or they come across people that are going through this, or at times, you know she might be driving on the way, or people in these groups are driving on the way, and all of a sudden they are being signposted to maybe a woman who suddenly starts to strip on the streets, or a man who just comes out of his car and just starts to run with no destination, take off its clothes, exhibiting signs of mental derangement, or signs of um mental illness. And they call her immediately, and they tell her, this is another situation that we have seen at so street, or so local, locality. Can you send people, can you send your staff, or can you send um help, that there's a situation at hand. So in emergency situations, Help for the Depressed would just rise up, and they would gather and motivate, even from their own in pockets. They would go to that area, and they would try to muster their courage, bring such persons into either a taxi or a van or maybe one of their vehicles, contact the hospital, contact the mental institution, tell them that this person has just broken down, and they need help to get this person into the facility, and they will collaborate with the hospital, and they would bring these persons into into the facility, and with or without government support the work goes on. So Help for the Depressed is doing so much. I've perused their website, I've gone to their different platforms on social media, and I can see that they're doing fantastic work. And I mean fantastic work. So today again, um, Princess Temidayo will be coming in on the show, and she's going to explain in details some of the work that Help for the Depressed is doing. I have been privileged to, you know, to be on her platform, whereby someone actually, wrote something down about a situation that she's going through. And I was so impressed at the number of people who typed, you know, who decided to sidebar her. The lady runs a fishery, a fish business, a massive one. And there's a lot going on in Nigeria at this point in time. You know, people being owed money, people, just people are going through stress, financial stress. Big businesses are folding up, you know, little businesses that are just springing up, people who are just surviving, barely surviving, you know, and they're trying to keep their business afloat. And some, because of, you know, being able, just managing to keep that business afloat, they have customers who come and take goods on credit and say they will pay at the end of the month or in 3 months. And here is this woman who runs a fish business. She has a massive fish pond, which she has put all her resources into. But for her to sustain it, she has to give business, she has to give fish out on credit to customers who would then take it to go and sell, and then they would pay her maybe at the end of the month or quarterly. And that is how she then gets the money, reinvest it into her fish pond, buy feeds, and also take care of herself and her family from the proceeds. And not long after I joined this esteemed group for Help for the Depressed, where there are over 200 to 300 people, massive group. This particular woman, I would not mention her name for confidentiality. She just typed into the group saying, I need help. I'm losing it right now. I need help. I need someone, to help me, to just tell me everything is going to be okay. And she narrated her ordeal. And the ordeal was, she has just she harvested her fish pond and sold to her customers, and most of the customers actually took the fish that was harvested, they took it on credit, which is the norm. She gives it on credit and then they sell and come and pay her. I think at the end of the month or maybe quarterly. So a particular customer who is one of her biggest customer has continued to take credit to the tune of millions, and she was not paying. And because of this, her purchasing power began to reduce because she wasn't putting money back into the business to buy feeds, to buy, fish, to put in her fish pond. And the business began to go haywire. And the worst part of it was this particular customer did not take, ownership, no accountability. She just saw it as, well, I've got no money to pay you, and whatever you want to do, you can do. And then maybe she started to block her phone calls, and the owner of the fish business was not able to reach her. She just was calling her bluff. And all of a sudden, because this woman was not financially empowered anymore, and her business began to suffer, she began to lose sleep. She gradually slipped into insomnia and was not sleeping for days. And she saw that, she was becoming absent-minded. She was becoming irritable. She, she would get to her business, and a trail of thoughts began to, become incoherent. And people around her began to notice there was something going on. And then in this group, which she is a member, Help for the Depressed, she typed and said, I need help. And I'm so glad she came to the reality that, the travails and the challenges she was actually facing in her business has started affecting her person, has started affecting, her mental health. And if care is not taken, she was going to slip into depression. Because when depression is about to kick in and start, the first thing depression attacks is your sleep. You start to lose sleep. You might become deranged if you are not sleeping. And some people would say you stop eating, and the things that used to give you joy, the things that used to make you happy, all of a sudden your smile disappears, your happiness disappears, and you become a recluse at times, and you just start becoming irritable. So this woman became anxious, and maybe she started to have panic attacks because she saw her business going down, her finances going down. Maybe it's the proceed from her fish business that she uses to pay her children's school fees, reinvest into the business, pay her bills, sustain her home. But she sold so much on credit, and her debtors are not paying, her customers are not paying. And not only that, maybe it's the proceeds from this business. As Nigeria is, if you set up a business, you have to factor money for diesel, you have to factor electricity, you have to factor borehole, because it's a country whereby your business cannot thrive if you don't have generator, if you don't have diesel, if you don't have petrol, because there is no light, there is no water. So I can imagine running a fish pond, a massive fish pond, and money is not coming in, to sustain the business. And you've got so much money out from debtors. This woman was losing it. I don't know whether Princess Princess Temidayo is back in the studio, at the backstage. I'm happy for her to come in, because we are talking about the great work Help for the Depressed is actually doing in her local community in Ondo State and its environs, the number of lives that they are saving, the number of people that they are helping, both through social media platforms, both physically at their local office, their physical office, and through the foundation and the charity. I am privileged to see some of the good works and rub minds with people that are benefiting from it. Many times Princess will have to leave office because she's an accountant. She's not even in healthcare. She's an accountant. She works for the Ministry of Finance as a director. But she's just passionate about mental wellness because she herself has a journey. And she's told me that one of these days she will share her story with me and what, she's been through, and how her passion for mental wellness, came to being. So for our admins, for our studio hands, please kindly send Princess into the studio if she's backstage. And if she's not yet backstage, please call and ask her to join us, because today's segment is being devoted into talking about the great works people are doing and what Help for the Depressed is actually doing. And I would also be sharing some of the good work and some of the things that projects and some of the work that KOA Foundation, Kofo Oluwaniyi-Asaaju Foundation, has done in the past and we're still doing. Because the more we do this program, the more people are reaching out to us and they are telling us that they are benefiting, they're benefiting from what this program is all about, what, we are talking about, the topical areas that we are delving into, the areas where we are having conversations, and they are hot topics in mental wellness. So it's important to bring life experiences and issues people are passing through. Back to my story and my discussion on this conversation of the fish pond owner. Immediately she typed into the inbox. Over 30 to 40 people jumped on the conversation, and they, began to give her courage, and not only give her courage to identify with her. They began to identify with her. They began to empower her. They began to empathize, which is one of the most important things. Emotional intelligence. when you are dealing with somebody who is going through, mental illness or mental challenges or issues that are affecting their emotion, their, their their psychological anatomy, that is affecting, their brain, linked to their emotions. You're supposed to be emotionally intelligent. And I began to read some of the comments before joining in the conversation. This woman said she's losing sleep. She's been facing insomnia due to, her resources, especially financial resources, being out there in the hands of debtors, that she has sold almost all the fish in her fish pond to regular customers who would usually pay within 3-4 weeks or 6 weeks. But no money is coming out. And her biggest customer is owing her millions of naira. And she's not even being accountable. She's just saying that, well, everyone in Nigeria is living on tough times. And that what can she do if the sales are not coming in, that people are also owing her? And this has been going on for months and months, almost leading to a year. And it has started affecting the owner of this business. And people are just flooding. People are flooding the what do you call it? They were flooding the text box with a lot of empathy. They were flooding the text box with a lot of empathy and a lot of you know information to help this particular woman to see things from another angle. And there came a message that really, really struck it out for me. And that message, was just so that message was so important, and it was so, the message was so, it hit me hard, in the sense that I just had to comment. The message said, we actually empathize with you, that you are going through so much and your finances are tied, and is affecting your home, is affecting your business and everything. But you need to be careful to actually think about what is most important to you. What is the most important thing to you? Is it your physical and mental wellness, or the money that you are being owed? That you need to be in the right place. You need to be in the right frame of mind. You need to be well to be able to collect money from your debtors, to be able to, find strategies that will help you to collect your money from your debtors. Someone typed in, you need to stay calm. You need to actually remove yourself, psychologically from that situation. And you need people to advocate for you. because you are in a place right now emotionally that you cannot think straight or think about, strategies that can help you to resolve this situation. Princess, I can actually see that you have called me from Nigeria. I can actually see that you are trying to get in and that you have been backstage for a while. African Portal, if you are there, African Portal team, are you in the studio, African Portal? Are you watching this program, hands on deck? Please, you need to let Princess into the studio. She's backstage and she's been backstage for a long time. This segment is dedicated and devoted to help for the depressed, and I need Princess to be in the studio. I need her to be in the studio. I'm sure she's watching from either Facebook, either on her page or my page, or from African Portal. So you need to bring Princess into the studio so that we can be on this segment together. African Portal, please bring Princess into the studio right now. I'm waiting for her. So as I was saying, it hit me because at the end of the day, even when you are going through a situation that is affecting your mental wellness, is affecting your health, you need to, you actually need to have people around you who can see beyond what you are seeing, because your emotions, your thinking faculty, your physiology, your your neuro your how would I call it, your the mechanisms in your brain, your neurological assessment at that stage might be poor. You might have poor judgment, to be able to make informed decisions. So you would need people to make decisions on your behalf. And trust me, within 15 to 20, 30 minutes, there were lawyers on that platform that actually began to advocate and make her see reason in how she could approach, her debtors in a legal manner. There were counselors on that platform who brought their expertise to the table and said that there are steps that could be taken to address the situation, that informally, before she could go down the formal route. How she could involve family members of the debtor, how she could speak to maybe the spouse of the debtor or people who are, common friends, community, to try and appeal to those owing her to pay up before she then decides to go legally. And she said, she wasn't seeing it from that angle because she was emotionally consumed. And this is why you need to speak up. As we're looking at help for the depressed, the good work they are doing today, one of the major things the charity has done is it has given people a platform to be able to come and hear their views, hear their burdens, and speak up so that they don't shoulder their burdens alone, so that they can work with people who can actually support them. And what I like about this community that Help for the Depressed has built is it's a community with professionals from different walks of life. And when I mean professionals, you don't have to have formal education or go to university for you to be, on top of your game. Formal education, academics is not everything. There are a lot of people that are doing exceptionally well that have not gone to the four walls of the university, but they are tops at their game. And even when they open their mouth and say things at times and educate because of experience, that is why I like developed countries, especially the United Kingdom where I'm based, and also United States, because I'm quite privileged to know how things operate in the US as well. Multinationals, industries, big companies, and how would I call it? Um, Big organizations, when they want to employ, people, and they want to, give jobs out, they don't only rely on your academic qualification. Some organizations don't even look at that at all. They consider your experience. And some will even go further to consider lifelong experience. And what do I mean by that? Experience that you have acquired, maybe on the job that you are doing, and maybe you want to apply for another role which fits into, the career path you have chosen, or even want to delve into another career, because you don't buy experience with money. You don't buy it on the streets. You acquire it. And you have to be, either on the job, you have to, have built yourself over the years and been in that place where you are actually getting that experience or gaining that experience. And when you go for interview on some of these jobs, you are asked either to role play or to give examples of experiences that you have had, either while on another job or life experiences. You might even be told to write an essay recounting experiences you have had, or you might be given a scenario which fits into the experience, one of the experiences you have had, and they would ask you that in such a scenario, what would you do? So what I like about Help for the Depressed is they've built a community where there are people with experience, where there are professionals in different career paths. And all these people are interested in mental wellness and see the need to support one another, to overcome challenges in mental illness, overcome challenges being faced by people, challenges like depression, which is their main focus, challenges like maybe suicide ideation, because depression leads to that, bipolar leads to that, schizophrenia leads to that, panic attack, because you are overwhelmed, anxiety constantly being on your toes, constantly, your mind, your mind is racing. You are anxious, even to drink a cup of a glass of juice. You are anxious because you're going through a situation that has awoken anxiety in you, to the point whereby you can't hold it together. And when things fall apart, the center can no longer hold. It will affect your total being. But this is a community, a safe space where people can come and talk. By the time this woman who owns a fishery, by the time 20 to 30 people came together in that community, gave her advice left, right, and center. Yes, some advice were a little bit, you know, okay, some were not okay, some were borderline, but it depends from whose perspective. Because everyone is entitled to their different opinions. And it's left for her to sift the shaft from the grain and use the grain to progress. And what I like is that a lot of people offered, solution and offered advice, did not even offer it alone on the platform. They went to inbox her. Some went ahead to say that they would like to see her. They would want her to come to their office. In fact, some even went as far as asked her how much it would take for her to get back on her feet while she's waiting to recoup, or, while she's waiting for her debtors to pay her. Please belong to a community, no matter how small. It might be a church community that you trust. It might be friends, a small community of friends that you trust, because nowadays friendship is very interesting. You have to choose your friends wisely. And the smaller your circles, the better. I've been there. So you must have a network, a community you belong to, so that when you actually do need that help, and mind you, the community where you might even benefit most might not be family, might not be friend based, might not be colleague or career based. It might just be a community whereby, you just maybe soup, what do you call it? Soup a week. It might be somewhere you are volunteering, that you are helping the less privileged. It might be that kind of community that would stand firm as a rock, that will have your back when you are actually falling apart and you are falling into pieces. It might be there that your joy will come. It might be a community that you even overlook, that might not financially empower you, that might not contribute to your career or contribute to your makeup, but you just go there, and go and get support. Oh, wow. Amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, wow, wow. I think
Drink
I have
a lot.
to, I think I have to speak to African Potter after this program, because they
Mm.
have not been there at all. I know you've been trying to get in for a while.
Mhm.
So
I'll be here. I'll be here.
sorry that
Yeah.
you them to let you in. I'm so sorry, but I know you've been watching. You've been hearing
Yeah.
all the things I've been saying. And
Yeah, I've been with you.
normally
I've been with
in
you
the community
for
that you have built, I'm normally very silent. And I'm sure you are shocked that I know so much that is happening there. And I
Ah,
read so much. I'm gaining so much. So for the
yeah,
next few minutes, 15 minutes that we have, I've spoken
yeah.
so much, and I'm going to just let the floor be yours, and you will take us through the journey of help for the depressed, when it was founded, what was your vision, what led you to find it, and also the great works that you are doing. I remember there was a day we spoke, and you told me that you really needed to run along, that someone just called you now and said there was a naked woman on the streets, and that they needed to get that woman off the street right now, because I think she was in a car and just came out of the car and started to act, irrational, and take off her clothes. And they called you and said, Princess, Princess, one of yours is here. Ìkànnù àwọn èèyàn yín o, ìkànnù àwọn èèyàn yín o, àti rí o, àti rí o, please come and get her. And that really touched my heart, to the point that I just had to say, no, this woman, I need to collaborate with her. I need to support what she's doing. So over to you, Princess.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam KOA. Hey, she. Good evening, viewers.
A little
I'm so glad
volume,
to
ma.
be here. All right.
More
Good
volume.
evening, viewers. Yeah, I'm so glad to be here. Um,
Oh dear. Have we lost Princess again? I hope this is not going to be like the last time when she came on the program and her network was just fluctuating there in Nigeria. I think once she comes back into the studio now, I'm not going to ask her to work on her volume, but we will just manage it like that, because we really need to hear from her, and also signpost people who are within that area, who are within that locality, who are, who need help, who need support, and who just, might know someone somewhere who is actually trying to access help for mental wellness. Because the more we educate, the more we bring people onto the program, the more we know what people are doing out there, the more we can support them, and the more we can help to lower the rate of suicide, lower the rate of suicide, you know, tell people that there's hope out there, that suicide is not the way out. Suicide is not the way out. You can get out of that cycle of negativity. You can get out of that cycle of no hope, hopelessness, and helplessness. All right, Princess, you are back in the studio. Whatever your volume is, we'll take it like that, because I don't want to leave you again. All right, whatever the volume is, please just fire on.
the technical should help us with whatever they can do.
Yes, I
I hope
think
you can
so.
hear me a little, ma.
I can hear you. The volume is 100% loud and clear. The
Okay.
floor is yours.
Thank God. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad to be here. Hello, our viewers. This privilege I won't let it slide, because what we at Help for the Depressed Foundation are out to do is to see how we'll continue to educate the masses. We want everyone to be aware of mental health. You know, before I started this foundation, it was in 2012, I got to know about mental health. And being an inquisitive mind, I asked so many questions. I was just asking the doctors, the psychologists that I could just get around. I was asking them so many questions. I needed to know more. And one of the questions I remember I asked was, um, can I meet anyone that has been through mental illness or mental health issue that will want to share the experience with people? And the answer I got was that, oh, in Nigeria, nobody will want to do that because of fear of stigma. So that got me worried because I saw the need for people to be aware. And since the gap was there, nobody was willing to talk about it. I knew it was going to be a problem, that will linger. So I said, I want to fill the gap. But of course, it took me so many years to be able to start off. In 2018, I tried to do something, I couldn't get it. In 2019, we were able to have our sensitization workshop for the very first time, on total wellness and mental health. Brought in nurses, brought in clinical psychologists, brought people from all spheres of life together. We had a session. It was fantastic. Honestly, it was even beyond my imagination. I never expected that much could be done within that period. People attended because I tied it to my birthday, and in Nigeria, the level of Owambe that people attend. When I said my own birthday was going to be a workshop, I thought people would not come. But trust me, people came. It was so impressive. The turnout was massive. And people poured their mind. When they listen to a clinical psychologist stray what mental health was, and then they saw, a nurse, a public health nurse, who spoke with them on, total wellness. And I balanced it with the spiritual aspect. That day, people immediately started asking questions. And somebody raised something at that meeting that day that's beyond having to go to a psychiatric hospital that is being stigmatized. That there is a need to have a place where people can run to in case of any mental health challenge. And of course, I knew even before that program that gap was there. But again, resources will not permit one to jump into it. So, but since that 2019 efforts have been on, in 2020, June 1st, we got our CAC certificate. That is, we registered the foundation with the Corporate Affairs Commission. And year in, year out, we have been improving on our activities. We have had times where we arrange that a group of our members will go out, just to unwind. There was a time in 2022 we had to go to, the seaside to see nature, just to help them to cope well. Our vision in Help for the Depressed Foundation is to help lives to thrive emotionally. That's our vision. And Madam KOA mentioned our activities on one of our platforms, which is the WhatsApp platform. We have an interactive platform for the foundation where people that are in need of help can run to and say, oh, I need to be helped. I remember the case she mentioned. I woke up to that message, I think around 2 a.m. when the lady called out for help. And I saw that there are a lot of, sides to that particular incident. The emotional aspect is there, which is paramount. But again, there's also the legal aspect, because somebody has, owe her money, and getting that money back is a legal thing. So I called on our legal team, and I remember it was even a magistrate, a chief magistrate, that came to explain the legal implication, what she can do, steps that could be taken, to make the situation better and things like that. So on that group, we have so many professionals. Like I'm an accountant, I have accountants on that platform. I have people that are administrators. My husband is an administrator, is on that platform. Most of them don't come out to talk, but they counsel me. tell me this is the way to go, this is what to do at any point. When that lady called for help, I received, counsel from so many places on what to do to help her. She's somebody I even know personally. So I was bothered too that she mustn't lose sleep over a situation, that could be resolved. So it is the passion that drives whatever we do in Help for the Depressed Foundation. The passion to ensure that, our people, that they are coping well with life. We want to see at every point in time that our people in Help for the Depressed Foundation, as many that identify with us, they are able to cope well with life. Mental health issues could come in through any circumstance. The loss of a loved one could land somebody into mental health issues. So sometimes when such happens to any of our members, we rally around them. Those ones who will not come to the platform, we don't want to share all of that on the platform. A lot of things that we do, we can't showcase because it's not actually, also healthy for us to review so many things that we do. So basically, in Help for the Depressed Foundation, we do so much behind the camera. We don't want to bring out all the things that we do. But there are some that we bring out. Sometimes we go to schools, we talk to students, we want to, inform them about mental health. Because remember, I told you that myself, I had, HND in the year 2000, and up until 2012, I never had about mental health. I never heard about it. So I mean, I saw the need for, pupils, primary school pupils, to begin to know about it. I saw the need for secondary schools to be aware about mental health. So I go all out. There was a time I was at Alakure High School in Akure here. Sometimes ago, I was in Federal Government Girls College. I go to schools like that just to talk to the students so that they too are aware at that, level, that they need to look out for their mental health. All most people know about is physical health, but the truth is that there's no physical health without mental health. So I've come to realize a whole lot, with my interaction with people, and especially when we started this foundation, it has opened my heart to so many things. Because when people call on us, like the case you mentioned, where people have to call me, oh, ma, there's somebody that is losing it now. We need to take her. We need to do this. We need to do that. A lot of calls like that come. Sometimes some people are having challenges with some relationships, and they know that this is already rubbing on their mental health. The next thing they do is call on us and say, help us. What do we do? We need this person to be stable, and we don't know how to go about this, things like that. And honestly, we are getting feedback that people are actually, getting better, after we might have, come in one way or the other. There are issues where I will have to, link them with professionals that will attend to them. And let me also mention that our activities goes even beyond our physical community. I attend to cases outside Nigeria. I attend to cases in Abuja, even though I'm in Akure here. I attend to cases in Lagos because few hands are doing what I'm doing. What I'm doing presently in Help for the Depressed Foundation, I'm not a professional, but we are trying to, be the bridge even between the professionals and those that need the help. Because we have realized that in this part of the world, a lot of people don't have access to the right help that they need. Okay. Now, there was a case I remember in 2021. There was a case that somebody called on me all the way from Lagos, that a brother was losing it and things like that. I had to make contact. I linked the person to General Hospital Bagada, and they saw a psychiatrist. And I think months after, the man called me back again and said, Princess, thank you. My brother is now, getting better, is now coping, better with life and things like that. I also have cases, in Abuja. I will have to refer some to the National Hospital like that. What I'm trying to bring out from that is that I don't take the role of a professional when people call on me. What we do at Help for the Depressed Foundation is to create awareness. We want to increase the level of awareness of mental health, and we also want to help people to cope well with life. So our vision is to help lives to thrive emotionally. And how do we achieve it? Is by creating advocacy for mental health, by organizing programs to educate people, trying to do all that we could do. And that's why you can see us all over social media. Most of the things I do on social media, they are targeted at increasing the level of awareness of mental health, because in my own part of the world, the awareness is too low, and it is encouraging stigmatization. And stigmatization will not help anyone to come out of a mental health issues. I remember you also asked that we should also mention our achievements so far. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, our achievements could not be measured, in clear terms, due to the fact that the level of awareness is still low. We don't want people to begin to also, call names when we bring out some issues that we attend to. So we reduce publicity around the things we do for people to be able, to come out of, mental illnesses. However, if there's anyone that feel led that after what they have experienced in Help for the Depressed Foundation, they want to come out in the open and talk about us. In fact, it's going to be, a great, publicity for the foundation, because it will help to show to the world what we have been doing. But that notwithstanding, our activities around children home is one thing we also talk about, because we discover that those children, they are already emotionally, being battered because of the circumstances that lead them to the children home. Children home is what some people call orphanages, but here we have adopted the name children home. We don't want to call them orphans, because many of them, they have both father and mother alive, yet they are in children home. So we just call them children home. And when we go to such places, we play with the kids, we give them the little we have. And we also want to let them know that there's something called mental health. So as they grow too, they begin to guard their mental health. Our mental health is something we need to guard as if we are setting up a physical security, to guard a store, a warehouse where we are kept, prized items. Okay, then sometimes too we go to places like lepers colony in Akure. There's a place we call Agoiriti. It is lepers colony. We go there, we give them items, we talk to them, we encourage them, because we know that if somebody has gotten to that situation, their mental health is already challenged. So we need to encourage them so that they can be at their best in life. Again, we go to schools, we print exercise books. I would like to show you, for example, a sample of our exercise books that we give to schools. Okay. This is something that we printed, we gave to schools, gave to students, because we know that some students, they are in school, they don't have writing materials, nothing to write with, yet they are in school. Help for the Depressed Foundation, we have also been able to do that. We print exercise books and give to students. And aside that, we pay school fees. It will shock you to know. We pay school fees of students. There was a time in Adekunle Ajasin University, Akungba Akoko, there was a girl that cried out for help, that she's losing it because she couldn't continue her education because there's no fund. It is not as if that is our area, but because it's bordered on her progress, and if there is any timeline that somebody needs to meet and the person is not meeting it, it could boil down on mental health issues. she cried out. We reached out to the school. The school said we should write officially that we should come to the school to pay up our fees. And we did all of that. And today, the lady is a graduate. We don't wait for people to appreciate whatever we are doing in Help for the Depressed Foundation. What we just do is we keep going. We keep pushing. And a lot of people will stop me, on the road. Sometimes they will say, Ma, your foundation helped me to survive something that I passed through, in recent time. Some will say years back, that they almost lost it, but for the activities of Help for the Depressed Foundation. I remember there was a guy that stopped me one day and introduced the wife to me. And he said, my wife wants to meet you. And the wife explained to me that it was through my foundation that her husband introduced her to, that she was able to bounce back to life, because she was already being depressed. Her case was that she had issue with childbearing. Waiting could be something that could tamper with someone's mental health. Her own case was that she was waiting, and in Africa, before you know it, they begin to disturb the woman as if she's God that gives children, that she's not having a child at that time, it is her fault and things like that. But the husband introduced her to our platforms, and she was just following us. Because again, let me mention that you don't have to have a one-on-one encounter with me before you gain from our platform. Ours is that we make it general, and if God leads you to that platform, you pick your own, as it is coming out, as we are dishing it out, you are picking yours, and on your own, you are coming up. You are coming up. And let me also mention the area of volunteers. On our various platforms, we have so many volunteers, some students, some working class that are working and supporting us. Our admin team, they are all volunteers. They are not paid. I think the only people we pay on our team, there are not so many. I think about 3 people that we pay on our team. Apart from the admin, we also have the media team that is headed by Mr. Olumide Olunloyo. He heads our media team. He has done so much for the foundation, and most of what he does is just to support the foundation. He doesn't get money. He doesn't get paid for doing all of that for us. So a lot of people have been supporting us. We have a clinical psychologist who has been supporting us even from the time we started this foundation, Dr. Mrs. Evelyn Onibi. I must acknowledge her on this program. She has been so supportive. People will call me, they have challenges. I will refer them to her. She will attend to them, not taking a dime from them, just to ensure that people are coping well with life. A lot of people have done so much to support this foundation. And some, at some points, we have to come when we have programs to be guest speakers, and they don't get paid a kobo. We don't pay them for speaking at our programs. Because again, intellectual properties, ordinarily, if we want to pay, we have to pay so much. We have to pay so much, but these people will not get money from us, and they will come, they will speak. And by the time people are leaving those programs, they are telling me they are blessed. Some will come call me months after and say, but for the program that they attended, they would have lost it. There's a lady that has been supporting us from America, Oluwadayo Adeyemo. She also owns a platform, My Mental Health Matters. The lady has been so superb. Sometimes I organize programs online. She will be the one that will anchor the program all the way from America. I remember there was a day a pastor gave us his platform, a church platform, to have a program. She was the one that anchored the program. She was the one that spoke with the people. I was not in the same location with the church. She was not also in the same location, but through technology we were able to arrange the program. We had it. It was successful. And about a year after, one lady came to me from that church, and she said the day they had that program in that church, she said she was already at the verge of losing it. And it was that program that was a turning point for her. And today, the lady is doing well with her family. They're no longer in Nigeria. They relocated, I think, some years back now, and they're doing fine. Thank God she didn't have to lose it totally at that point. Till today, suicidal ideation is still very high in Nigeria. And I must say that a lot, of intervention through this foundation has helped us, to keep people from going the path of, suicide. Um, Whether we like to say it or not, on daily basis, the media is filled with numbers of people that die by suicide. But we are doing our own little. Like the Bible says, it said the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. And that's exactly what is happening about mental health. The harvest is plenteous and the laborers are few. We are doing our bit, but I know that what we are doing is still not enough. I will encourage that so many other foundations, should come up, and the government agencies too should do more to increase the level of awareness on mental health, because uh, our society will get better if we have more people that are mentally, agile, more people that are mentally stable. If somebody is working in any environment and the person is not mentally okay, it will rub on the productivity of that person. This year, come October 10, is the World Mental Health Day. And the theme for this year is uh, mental health in the workplace. Yes, I think mental health in the workplace. So honestly, there is so much for us to do. So I want to appreciate Madam Asaaju for the privilege to use your platform, to talk about us, Help for the Depressed Foundation today. And this that you have done too, I know that it's going to yield a lot of results. So many people will be blessed by it. I want to say thank you for the opportunity. And if there's any question, um, please feel free to ask. If there's any area you feel I have not touched, kindly ask so that we can round up, because I can see that the time is fast spent. This is 1 hour, 11 minutes on the program already. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, I think Madam Asaaju is also struggling to come back to stage. She's backstage. I can see that. So while we wait for her, um, I want to say that our website is also available. My admin team will place it on this call. Uh, you can visit our website to know more of the things that we do. We have pictorials of our activities on our website, and our Facebook is Help for the Depressed Foundation. Instagram, F for the Depressed. We are there. Visit our various platforms, and you won't regret, spending your time coming on our platforms. Sometimes last year too, um, I wrote a book on the journey to destiny. I'm not too sure if I have a copy of the book around me here, but again, a portion of this book talks about what borders on mental health. You know, most of life's decisions that people take at early stage, they are being taken on their behalf. But some of these decisions will come and reflect later in life to rub on the person's mental health. Um, on this program today, I won't be able to talk much on the book, but on our various platforms, if you need a copy of the book, you can let us know, and we'll see how we can get it over to you. Please, African Portal Radio, bring Madam back, oh, bring Madam Asaaju back so she can round up the program for today. African Portal. Tap Radio, please bring Madam back. Bring Madam back. Time is fast spent. Please bring Madam back to the studio. Bring her back to stage so that she can round up the program. I'm not supposed to be the one to round up, and who didn't want to take that up. Hello, ma. Hello. Hello. Can't even hear you. Please drop a message, man. It's okay. We'll have to call it a day on this program today because it's obvious that we have technical issues. Madam might not be able to come back on stage. I want to appreciate all our viewers. Thank you for joining this call today. Please don't forget, same time, same platform, next week Sunday, Madam Asaaju will be coming live to talk about how is your mental health today. Kindly watch this, like and share. Feel free to call the studio line for contributions or questions when this program is on, and there is space for adverts and sponsorship too. The lines to call are being scrolled across the platform now. So thank you so much for joining us. God bless us. Amen.